Honorable Member for Zomba Malosa, we need to close this matter. Sorry? You have the floor, Zomba Malosa.
It's business, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for recognizing people of Zomba Malosa to stand on a point of order. Madam Speaker, if we look at our standing order, at our order paper by me,
order, please.
We'll see there is an upcoming business about I think Doha Central, something to do with disaster. So I wanted to ask Madam Speaker, under your guidance, that maybe if you can help us this issue to come up, because we are having a lot of disasters in our constituencies. People are suffering, and we thought by having the money decentralized, our people will be helped fast than what is it right now. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Zomba Malosa. The business that you're talking about is on notices, and it's really the leader of the House, and today being government business, that can move for that business to be moved and discussed at what time that the government sees fit. So I think it's a matter of maybe I don't know whether it's lobbying or, but the government. I don't move the business on the order paper. It's the government that would decide. Thank you. Leader of the House.
Yeah, Madam, thank you. The businesses Zomba Malosa is talking about, it's a private member business. And yesterday she was in the House. She should have moved that business from upcoming business even to business. Even if it is left to me, I will not be able to move that business because it's not government business. It is a purely private member's business. The issue about Doha Central is not for government business. So yesterday she should have used that day to bring. And you remember, I also joined you to say members are not using their day. So even though it is a government day, but that business is not government business.
But it is at your discretion. If you wanted to move to that business, it will be up to you to decide whether you want. Thank you. So, Government Chief Whip.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just to ask you, as you consider what the leader had requested, you may also wish at some point to refer to our own Rule 39(2), which talks of the sitting plan and says that all the front seats are supposed to be reserved for cabinet ministers. So I thought that maybe the sitting plan is not necessarily at discretion, but according to our own rules, it clearly states that. And so because it's a matter of tradition, as you put it, and they rightly said that whatever they're doing that side, they're trying to reflect what is happening on this side. So maybe that could come under your consideration as you look into the issue. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
That is noted, Honorable Government Whip, but I think if you go down the same standing order, I think it will help you, guide you. Go down the same standing order, it will also help in guidance. But as I said earlier, yes, because we have introduced this as a tradition, we expect that the same tradition should be replicated. But in terms of what our standing orders say, I think if you go down the line, it will also clarify the same issue. Thank you. Honorable members, we now go to questions pertaining to Ministry of Water and Sanitation. Question number 467, Chitipa Wenya.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I like to confirm that indeed the question appearing on today's paper is from the people of Chitipa Wenya. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Chitipa Wenya. Honorable Minister of Water and Sanitation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And through you, I would like to thank the member from Chitipawenya for the question. The question was to ask the Minister to consider upgrading a water line from Sekwa Tank to Wenya Secondary School up to Wenya Health Center and to supply all the people in the surrounding area. The line needs to replace plastic pipes with galvanized pipes, as the plastic pipes are easily damaged. Madam Speaker, as indicated by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Chitipawenya, the pipeline from Sekwa Tank to Wenya Secondary School indeed requires urgent upgrading in order to ensure that the people around the area access potable, clean water. This particular pipeline was already surveyed by the Ministry, and a recommendation was made to upgrade the existing pipeline from the 110 millimeter class 6 PVC pipes to 110 millimeter class 10 PVC pipes, which can withstand the water pressure that is being coming from those from the line. Madam Speaker, although assessment of the scheme was successfully conducted, upgrading of the pipeline has delayed due to lack of funding. In the interim, utilization of the Constituency Development Fund or the Local Development Fund for the boreholes would be an alternative until the Ministry secures adequate funds to carry out extensive works in that constituency. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Minister, Chikwawa Central and...
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for recognizing the people of Chikwawa Central. Madam Speaker, I would like to ask the Minister if he can consider expanding the water reservoir tanks at Nchalo Trading Center as the population has tripled. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Water and Sanitation.
Thank you, Chikwawa Central, for your question, and through you, Madam Speaker, I would like to inform the member from Chikwawa Central that we do intend to increase the water systems in Chikwawa Central to ensure that the people have enough water, because the population has grown so much with the Illovo sugar staff also migrating to that constituency. We will be looking into that immediately. Thank you, Chikwawa Central, and thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Is that in Chinji?
Chinji Central.
Sorry, Chinji Central. Yes.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving the people of Chinji Central a chance that we ask a supplementary question to the Minister of Water and Sanitation. Madam Speaker, I would like to find out from the Honorable Minister what plans are there in the Ministry as regards to the provision of safe and potable water in training centers that are fast growing in this country. I have in mind, Madam Speaker, Ludzi and Chiosha Training Center in my constituency. Thank you very much.
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Member from Chinji Central. And through you, Madam Speaker, I would like to inform the member from Chinji Central that the Water and Sanitation is looking into a lot of the constituencies, especially with regards to the water boards, to increase capacity so that more people can receive safe, potable water. The list I will be presenting the ministerial statement soon, so everyone will go through and understand where the water and sanitation will be in their constituencies. That will be as soon as we are ready. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Minister. Mulanje West.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving the people of Mulanje West an opportunity to ask a supplementary question. Madam Speaker, I would like to ask the Minister responsible for water development if she can consider giving potable water to people of Nkando Trading Center. Nkando Trading Center is one of the fastest growing trading centers. Actually, it was supposed to be a rural growth center. The people there are living without water. They are still drawing water from Tujira River. So if she can consider giving the people of Nkando Trading Center potable water. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Mulanje West. Honourable Minister of Water and Sanitation.
Thank you, Mulanje West, for your question. And through you, Madam Speaker, I would like to inform the member from Mulanje West that the ministry is actually in 3 constituencies in Mulanje. I just need to rectify and confirm which constituencies exactly. I had gone through the list. I remember there was Bali and a few other constituencies. But the ministry intends to go into as many constituencies as I've just mentioned. It is a new question. Feel free to visit my offices to discuss this, honourable member. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
We now go to question 467, water and sanitation. So what has gone out of order, Machinga East?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I just need your guidance. When ministers are answering questions from honourable members of parliament, most of the times they do indicate that they are in the process of sourcing resources. Once the resources are mobilized, then they will do. But they don't give like timeline, so it's just open like that. We don't know how long will it take for them to organize those resources. Don't you think it is better for them to indicate maybe the timeline, whether it is 1 year or 2 years?
Member for Machinga East, address the chair.
It seems like there are so many chairs here. So they should shut up whenever I'm speaking.
No. Honourable member for Machinga East, you cannot use that word in this. Can you withdraw that, please?
No, they should shut up.
No, but you're being emotional. I don't know.
You know, we cannot speak 193. We cannot speak at the same time.
Yes, I know. But what you need to do, honourable member for Machinga East, is to ask a chair to protect you, but you're not supposed to be converse with me, madam. Honourable member for Machinga East, please. Honourable Deputy Chief Whip.
Right Honourable Speaker, I understand and appreciate the concern expressed by the Honourable Member, but what happens, Right Honourable Speaker, is that supplementary questions, they just come unexpectedly. Proper questions which have been given ahead, we do research, we send our teams on the ground to find out what exactly is happening. But when it comes to supplementary, they get us unaware. Because somebody will ask about a specific place, so I cannot just give a commitment. We need, that is why all the time for supplementary, most of the times, we ask members to put it in writing so that the teams from different departments or ministries can actually go down and find out exactly, do assessment, so that when we come in this house, we give information based on facts. I submit, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Whip. I cannot add any more to it. I've even been saying it so many times here that if you want honourable ministers to give you responses that are properly researched, the best is to put the questions through the normal channel. But the questions that are answered just as supplementals, in many cases, the Honorable Minister cannot know what is happening in Chitipa Health Center. She will not know what is happening in Sanje. So the best way is to send the questions formally. What we're supposed to be asking as supplementary questions are supposed to be policy guidelines. And I mean, in terms of, let's say, health, education, because that the Honorable Ministers are supposed to know whether there's a supplementary or not. They have to know what their policies in the ministries are. So indeed, I agree with you, Honorable Minister. As long as you're asking for something that has not formally gone to the ministry, then we shouldn't expect to have a comprehensive response. Thank you. Member for, are you rising on point of order or?
Supplementary, if we still have.
Sorry, supplementary? No, supplementary to which question? No, we've already done 3. Thank you. Standing on the point of order,
Yeah, Madam Speaker, is it in order for us to proceed without hearing my dear sister there withdraw the word shut up? Because I believe the word shut up is unparliamentary, and this is an August House, Madam Speaker. I submit.
Honorable members, you are right. If she used the word shut up, it's unparliamentary and has to be withdrawn. Honorable member for Machinga East.
I just wanted to replace that word with...
Honorable member for Machinga East, you're supposed to be conversing with me. So I've asked you, talk to me, don't talk to the other honorable colleagues, talk to me.
Honorable Speaker, it is very difficult for me to speak to you while 192 members are speaking at the same time. They should learn to respect others. They should learn to hear other people's views. Then they can be sanity in this house. Otherwise, we cannot come here and somebody start shouting at you whenever you are expressing issues to do with your constituency. That cannot be tolerated. So
Honorable member, I've asked you, can you please withdraw?
I'm replacing that word with closing.
I need a withdrawal first. Honorable member for Machinga East, I need a withdrawal. I don't need a replacement. I need a withdrawal.
What I'm saying, Madam Speaker, if they can, if you...
Honorable member for Machinga East, I'm telling you for the last time, I just need a withdrawal. I don't need a replacement. I need a withdrawal, please.
Okay.
You can't withdraw, honorable member. I've asked you for the last time. I need a withdrawal. I don't need a replacement.
Withdrawn.
Honorable members, we now go to question 437, Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for granting an opportunity to people of Sanje Southwest to ask a question. Madam Speaker, I rise to confirm that question 437 is indeed coming from people of Sanje Southwest, especially from T.A. Maremianga.
Honorable, confirmation ends where you have confirmed. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I rise to confirm that question 437 is indeed coming from people of Sanje Southwest. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Sanje Southwest. Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and through you, let me thank the Honourable Member for Sanje Southwest for her question. But, Madam Speaker, before I start, with your indulgence, allow me to join those that have spoken before to offer condolences to families in the Lower Shire that have lost loved ones, and also to assure learners, teachers, parents and guardians that my ministry is working very hard to make sure that we can return education to normality as soon as possible. We have an emergency plan sorted out. As soon as the funding is available, we'll make sure that learning resumes in its entirety in the whole area. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Coming back to the question from Sanjay Southwest. Sanjay Southwest is asking my ministry to consider construction of change rooms for girls in the following schools: Tinde, Nyamadzere Primary School, Kapalokonje Primary School, Nsanje Catholic Primary School, Mchere Primary School, Kuluvi Primary School, Pombwe Primary School, and Bamba Primary School. The honourable member would like would like to emphasize that putting change rooms at these schools will keep girls in school rather than abscond classes. Madam Speaker, allow me to thank the honourable member from Sanjay Southwest, and allow me also to inform the honourable member that currently my ministry does not have resources for the construction of change rooms in the said primary schools. However, let me assure the honourable member that if resources are available, my ministry appreciates the importance of change rooms in the schools, especially for girls. However, it is this House that allocates resources to ministries through the budget process, and that budget process is coming up shortly. It is my hope that at the right moment, resources such as this will be allowed to be, honourable members rather, will make sure to support that resources are allocated sufficiently to allow for such essential infrastructure in various schools. Madam Speaker, otherwise I would like to encourage the honourable member to also approach the District Council and other well-wishers, including NGOs in the area, because right now my ministry does not have spare resources to construct the change rooms in the said schools. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister of Education. Honourable member for, next to Chitipa North, but not, yes.
Zombali Sanjar.
Zombali Sanjar.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good morning. I wanted to agree with the Minister of Education, and she has made an appeal that when the budget comes to Parliament, we should support the budget. But, Madam Speaker, I think we need to look at how we budget in Malawi. That budget will come here when it has already suffered serious cuts from Treasury. So I don't know what kind of support will benefit from this House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and let me also thank the honourable member from Zombali Sanjara and agree with him that the budget presents a lot of challenges to all of us, because basically as government we have a lot of priorities, and it is unlikely that all things that we desire can be prioritized. It is probably because of that certain things get left out. However, members are still very free to support those things that they would like to see happening in their constituencies, because without the allocation, my ministry does not have any other means of support save for the lobbying of our development partners, who also are facing challenges in their capitals because of the COVID, which has led to, in many cases, reduction of the monies available for us to appeal to them for their support. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Is it in Chisi North? Sorry? East, yes.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, Madam, for recognizing the people of Nchisi East to ask a supplementary question to the Minister of Education. My question is a policy one. I just wanted to find out from the Minister what measures the ministry takes to combat disasters and emergencies in different schools in Malawi. I have in mind Kafantandala Primary School in Nchisi East, where the roof tiles have been broken down, and whenever the rains have started, the pupils are sent back home. I've raised the issue to the minister. At some point, I was referred to the director for basic education, but up to now, the situation has not been sorted out. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Nchisi East, Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and through you let me thank the Honourable Member for Nchisi East for his question. Indeed, this is not the first time that has come up, not only from the Honourable Member from Nchisi East, but from many other members in this August House. The situation on the ground is such that disasters in schools happen fairly regularly, and they're going to happen even with more increasing frequency because of climate change. My ministry takes note when they happen, and we've also noted disasters that happened years back which are still not sorted out. Our challenge is that the budget line for such things is very small. It got exhausted at the beginning of the year such that there is no money to attend to that. So when I refer members to the technical side of the ministry, it's usually to allow the technical side to look and see if there's anything that can be done from around the budget. But what we find increasingly is that it is not possible, because our last calculation to allow us to attend to schools that have already been damaged, as at mid last year, our calculations said that we suggested that we would need over 2 billion Malawi kwacha just for that. And since then, there's been more disasters. So it is, again, an appeal to this August House, because climate change has come. It needs for us to think differently and plan differently how we use our money. So when the August House will be considering the budget, that is the time to question the priorities and press for these sort of things to be prioritized, just as we in the ministry are pressing to have a specific budget line that acknowledges that every year we lose a lot of school infrastructure to damage of different kinds. So beyond that, Madam Speaker, there's not much my ministry can do. We need the money. Thank you.
Thank you. Chiradzulu South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Chiradzulu South to ask a question. Madam Speaker, I wanted to find out from the Minister if you can assist, because most of the students that are in community-based secondary schools, normally they pay very little, maybe 7,000 a term. But this month, they're supposed to pay a total of maybe 34,000, including examination fees. And most of them are struggling, and some of them may not even pay for the examination fees. And this is the reason is being that because of the COVID, most of their business of their parents maybe had collapsed. They cannot afford. And as I've said, you may see a lot of students, particularly in the rural areas, not to be able to pay for the school fees, for the examination fees, as well as the school. And I'm sure honorable members in this August House are receiving a lot of requests from these students. So I wanted to find out from the honorable minister, is there anything that you can do to address this particular challenge, because it is affecting them? We all know the situation on the ground. So through the speaker, I want to find out whether the minister can do anything to do with the examination fees, which most of the students cannot afford. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I know the Honourable Minister will respond, but it's the same thing I was saying earlier. No, that is a very important question, but it's the same thing I was saying. If you look at the question 437, it's to do with primary schools construction. And that's why in the end sometimes we don't get the responses that we expect. because I'm sure the minister was researching on primary schools and everything else, and this one is to do with school fees. Very important, but the reason why sometimes we don't get the responses that would require. So, Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and let me thank my honourable colleague from Chiradzulu South. And as you indicate, Right Honourable Speaker, this is not related to the question. However, it's a very critical question because registration for examinations are underway, and it's a time-limited process, such that should this the issue raised happen to affect a lot of learners, then I would say I will take it to MANEB to look at the issue, because this comes under MANEB, and MANEB operates fairly independently for various reasons from the ministry when they deal with examination issues because of separation of roles and so on. So what we commit to do is to ask MANEB to look at the issue and to see if there's anything that can be done, keeping in mind that the reason there are these fees is to allow for processes to be managed. The money is used for examination processes. So saying those fees will be waived just like that would create problems elsewhere. So we will look at it, and we will come back with a response to the honourable member. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Minister, I'm sure it's a response that a lot of honourable members will be waiting for, because it's something that affects. Yes, thank you. Rising on point of order, or why are you rising? Blantyre North.
Madam Speaker, it was supposed to be a supplemental extending on the same.
We've exhausted 3 supplementaries on this question.
Maybe with your...
Now go to question 459, Lilongwe Nsinja South.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I rise to confirm that the question 459 comes from the people of Nsinja South. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and let me thank the honourable member for Lilongwe Nsinja South, who is asking my ministry to consider upgrading Chankhandwe CDSS to a boarding secondary school. The constituency has no boarding secondary school, and the nearest is Mitundu Secondary School. And in a second question, the honourable member is asking my ministry to consider constructing extra 3 classrooms or classes at Chimtengo Primary School. The school has 2 classroom blocks up to standard 4, and this has led to learners stopping going to school because the nearest school is far from villages around Chimtengo Primary School. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the honourable member for this question, or these 2 questions, and to indicate that Chankhandwe Community Day Secondary School was upgraded in 2006 under the Africa Development Fund Project 2. As such, it conforms to my ministry's policy on essential minimum education infrastructure for a secondary school. Under that minimum infrastructure package policy, a school is supposed to have a certain number of infrastructures. So Chankhandwe CDSS has 4 modern classrooms, an administration block, a library, and a science laboratory. My ministry is aware that due to long distances that some learners travel to access education at that school, the community turned the old classrooms into girls' hostels. However, my ministry currently does not have plans to further upgrade this school because, as I've said, when we look at various schools, we look at the essentials in that school, and this school currently has most of those essentials. However, should funds be available, My ministry is prepared to look at what else is missing at the school. On the second question, Madam Speaker, my ministry is aware that Chintengo Primary School is a junior primary school with an enrollment of 230 learners only. It has 2 classroom blocks of 2 classrooms each, and as such, it offers education to learners that are in standards 1 to 4 only, as indicated above. Those from standard 5 to 8 have to go to the nearest school, in this case to Ben Full Primary School, which is 3 kilometers away, and Nkazomba Full Primary School, which is 4 kilometers away from Chintengo Primary School. These are long distances for young children to travel, and my ministry recognizes the need for the school there. Indeed, a need for additional classrooms at the school has been noted, but for the time being, my ministry does not have the resources. But let me indicate that in the last sitting, this House passed a bill which is to do with strengthening primary education. It is possible that when time comes to look at where those resources are going to be applied, schools such as this may well be part of the beneficiaries once they look at the criteria. In the meantime, through you, Madam Speaker, let me ask my honourable colleague to also refer to Lilongwe District Council to support the school with funds when funds are available, because as we probably know, primary education was devolved to local councils. I would also urge my honourable colleague to seek out support from NGOs. That way, we may achieve what we need to achieve in education. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Supplementary from the owner of the question, Msinja Sir.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I just wanted to appreciate what other things I was supposed to construct at Chankandwe CDSS for it to be upgraded to secondary school, because she has indicated that the school has a lot of facilities, and if funds will be available, the ministry will construct other facilities. I just wanted to appreciate other facilities. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Lilongwe Nsinja South. Honourable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and let me thank my honourable colleague from Lilongwe Nsinja South once again. I think the other infrastructure, which in this instance I'm not sure whether it's available, other infrastructure that we increasingly encourage schools to also have is like multi-purpose hall, which there was a time when these were seen as an optional extra, but with COVID we've learned that schools that have multi-purpose halls of large enough size managed to keep learning going during the COVID, the height of the COVID pandemic, because they were able to safely distance learners and allow learning to continue taking place. I can't say that I know exactly what else is already at that school. I mentioned just a few core things that need to be there. And let me also perhaps share through you, Madam Speaker, that my ministry's approach is, rather than look at upgrading a school to a full secondary school, we are looking at what a good school need to have. And in working to try and make sure that all CDSSs can have those facilities, our aim is that there should be no schools below others. We should aim for equality in terms of the facilities available that allow quality education to take place. So what I'm getting at, Madam Speaker, is that in time, there should be no place to upgrade to. Like, one should not be seeking to be a national school, because if resources allow, we should bring community-based secondary schools to the same level of provision as all the other schools. That's the vision. Resources are what stands in the way. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Member, is it Salima Central? Yes, you have.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for recognizing the people of Salima Central. Madam Speaker, I would like to ask the Minister of Education to consider upgrading in Salwa CDSS, which has a very large growing population, and if it fails to become a full boarding school, I will ask her if she may consider it with a girls' hostel. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and let me, through you, thank Salima Central for the question, which is a new question in the sense that for me to be able to respond, I would need to know what Nsalua CDSS has, and so the technical teams would need to go there. So may I request, through you, Madam, that the Honourable Member puts this question in writing. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Minister, Blantyre North.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I have been compelled to ask this question following what the Minister of Education answered when he was answering the question from Kiryat South. I just want to find out whether it is possible to regulate on the examination fees, especially on private secondary schools, because what is happening currently, you will find that students from government schools are paying 20,000 plus on examination fees, while at the same time students from private secondary schools are paying 50,000 plus. The difference is just too big. This difference is coming on the practicals, but honestly maybe the minister should find a way how to regulate, to put the minimum and the maximum. Otherwise, our children are being written off. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Blantyre North, Honourable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and let me also thank my honourable colleague from Blantyre North. The question is raising suggests that there's something not quite right going on, because if we're talking of national examinations administered by MANEB, the fees are not different for the students, regardless of where they're writing those examinations. However, if we're talking of examinations that are under separate curricula from maybe international curricula, that is the domain of the private schools. However, my ministry would look into it to see what exactly is going on. If it's MANEB and the fees are as varied as my honourable colleague suggests, then we have a problem. And so in short, Madam Speaker, let me commit to engage MANEB and find out exactly what is going on, and also to engage our inspection department within the ministry to make sure that we look into this. And also, if I may ask my honourable colleague to share details of what is happening exactly, so we can look at it, because we realize that although government instituted free services in certain areas or has set fees for certain services, there are times when maybe schools get a bit wayward and charge, and recently, for example, we had to issue a circular regarding user fees, which are charged for different things and which stop learners from poor backgrounds from accessing education. That cannot be right. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. We go to question 460.
Madam Speaker, I just want to confirm that I'm talking about MANEB examination. Just confirm that I'm talking about MANEB.
Take note, Honourable Minister. Mulanje North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to confirm that question 460 is from Mulanje North constituency. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. What Chitipa North?
Right Honourable Speaker, I don't know whether the Minister of Education will come back to this House to make the pronouncement he has made after he has investigated, because the issue of fees is affecting most of constituencies and most of the schools that we have. I just want to find out from you whether the minister will come back so that we know exactly what is happening.
Chitipa North, I think the minister did make a commitment, but probably you're saying on these private schools fees, because she did make a commitment earlier after Chiradzuru South had raised an issue to do with for examinations.
Right, Honourable Speaker, we are speaking on behalf of the constituencies, and the member asked a question on the private schools because the difference is so big, and there was an undertaking by the Minister of Education that we will find out more. I wonder whether she will come back so that at least we go with a response that her undertaking meant. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister, I'm sure you had made an earlier commitment, but this is to add the extra issue raised by Blantyre North when you're coming back with a response on the fees, I think. Thank you. Honourable Minister, question 460.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and through you, let me thank my honourable colleague from Mulanje North for the question, which is to ask the Minister of Education to consider supplying desks to the following primary schools: Mulomba, Chitimbe, Sanjale, Nalanda, Chera, Masangwani, Kamwendo, Mulambe, Nakamba, and Yanyama and Sagawa schools. Madam Speaker, allow me to thank the honourable member for this question and to say that desks are among the most important teaching and learning materials in schools. Learners, especially girls, learn and participate better in class if seated at a desk, and my ministry is aware of the acute need for desks in schools across the country. My ministry, with support from government and development partners, has procured and distributed desks to schools across the country. But obviously, given that when I made the statement on desks in June last year, we had done a survey of all our schools, primary and secondary, in the country, and we found that we need overall 4.5 million desks in order for us to be able to say every learner is sitting at a desk. Allow me, therefore, Madam Speaker, to inform the honourable member that my ministry has provided 75 double-seater desks to 5 out of the 11 schools on this list that the honourable member has provided. The schools are Mulomba, Yanyama, Ndanga, Masangwani, and Mulambe. The remaining 6 schools will be considered in future should more desks be procured. Again, let me appeal to this House that given the size of the deficit of desks, because the issue of desks has not just come up today, it has been there for a long time. When we are looking at the budget, these are the kind of things that we should be looking at to see what allocation, if any, is there, because without that allocation, my ministry cannot do anything. Madam Speaker, allow me also to request the honourable member and all members of this august House to encourage schools to embrace the spirit of maintenance, preventive maintenance, when it comes to all school infrastructure. That includes furniture for teachers, because we talk of desks, but in many schools teachers also don't have any desks or chairs to sit on. It is worrisome to see almost in every school heaps of broken desks, and my ministry has started a deliberate policy of making sure that schools are supported